From WBRE, this is 28 Eyewitness News.
Federal investigators pay a visit to Lehigh County.
They are looking for more clues into the cause of last week's deadly explosion. Good morning, it's 5:30. It's Tuesday, February 23rd. Find out what the president of that devastated company has to say. Plus, the bitter temperatures are making news this morning.
With more on those bitter cold temperatures, Dr. Steve Fertig is here to tell us about today's forecast. How cold is it out there?
We're in the single digits, but the difference today is that we don't have the strong winds, so the wind chills are not nearly as great. So even though the temperatures are a little bit less, it's not feeling quite as cold as yesterday. Nevertheless, I think we'd all agree it's cold. We'll get up to 24 degrees though for today's afternoon high. We'll see mostly sunny skies, much like yesterday as well, but it's definitely a cold day. Don't want to give the impression that you don't need to dress warm this morning.
No, you couldn't fool us. We know it's cold.
I'll see you later, guys.
Thanks, Steve.
All right, Steve. Well, that cold weather tops our news this morning. Temperatures have dipped to dangerous levels. As Steve just told us, temperatures are within a few degrees of zero in much of the region, while some areas could see record lows. People who do not have a place to live are putting their lives on the line. And that's why volunteers from the Vision program went looking for homeless people last night. They found two and convinced one of them to go to a shelter. Doctors say exposure to this bitter cold can lead to frostbite and hypothermia and can cause serious respiratory problems for the very young, the elderly, and those with existing respiratory problems. Meantime, the SPCA advises animal owners to make sure outdoor pets are brought in or have warm, protected places to sleep.
In other news this morning, as the deadline nears, U.S. negotiators are not optimistic Serbs and Albanians will reach an agreement over Kosovo. The threat of NATO airstrikes against Serbian targets hangs over talks in France this morning. The two sides face a 9 a.m. Eastern Time deadline to come up with a peace plan or face the possibility of military strikes. Secretary of State Madeleine Albright will meet with the ethnic Albanians today. She met with Serbian President yesterday, but made no progress. Back here at home, a chemical inside the Allentown company that blew up Friday was extremely explosive. That's according to a chemistry professor. However, the lawyer for the chemical distilling company Concept Sciences says there was no combination of chemicals on the premises that could have caused that explosion. Meanwhile, a wrongful death lawsuit is planned by the family of Ruben Soto. He's one of 5 victims killed in the blast. The company's president held an emotional news conference about the disaster.
I have no words to express my sorrow, and to the families of my lost friends and injured colleagues, I pledge to them and to you that I will do everything in my power to find out what happened.
Ward is scheduled to meet with Occupation and Safety Health Administration investigators this morning.
Teachers in the Weatherly Area School District left a meeting with the board last night saying they will strike Friday. Both sides met for several hours before teachers rejected the last offer by the school board. Union spokesman Mike Ziegler says the latest proposal is insignificantly different than the previous offer. Ziegler also says, quote, the proposal was miserably short of what the teachers feel is a compromise. Salary and length of the contract are the primary stumbling blocks. There are no new talks scheduled, and a strike could extend the current school year to the June 30th limit set by the state. Parents in another school district say their children are the forgotten students. Those youngsters attend Arthur Street Elementary School in Hazleton. I-Team reporter Andy Mehalshick tells us it appears the children are the victims of political infighting.
From the outside, Arthur Street Elementary School looks just fine, but many parents say the inside is less than adequate, and they are angry. Parents like Sherry Zurishan.
We want our children to have an equal education along with all the other kids in the school district. Right now our building is in pretty sad shape, so we can withstand it for a while, but we need to know our kids are going to be getting into a decent building soon.
Now, most parents believe the school is a safe building, but they do also believe that for many years the district neglected this building, and because of that neglect, their children are right now paying a high price.
It's more unkept, peeling paint, such as that. You know, it's overcrowded now that we have 7th and 8th grade there.
And what does the district's superintendent have to say about all this? Well, she agrees with the parents.
Well, I agree with them. They should feel like they're in limbo, and certainly it's not because of them. It's because of the factions that exist in this community that are attempting to destroy the progress.
Shepperson argues that the battle to save the old Hazelton High School, the castle, has delayed work on a new school for the Arthur Street students. It would be built where the castle now stands. She admits that not a lot of money was put into Arthur Street since the new school has been on the drawing board for years. Now she says politics has claimed more victims, the kids.
6 board members have decided to move forward. Every time we turn around, we have another issue and someone else saying, let's delay it a little bit longer, let's delay it a little bit longer.
Andy Mehalshick, 28 Eyewitness News.
Now, Eyewitness News has learned Hazelton received state approval to have the school classified as an historical building. That could put any demolition work on hold for months and possibly stop it altogether.
Elsewhere in Jasper, Texas, closing arguments begin today in the murder trial of alleged white supremacist John King. King is one of 3 white men accused of dragging James Byrd Jr., a black man, to death. Prosecutors wrapped up their case yesterday using graphic evidence to show Byrd was alive as he was dragged to his death. Meanwhile, police say King was trying to get a letter to a co-defendant in this case. In it, King wrote, "Regardless of the outcome of this, we have made history." And he signed it with a Ku Klux Klan symbol and a Nazi salute. The Penn State Geisinger Medical Center in Danville and Montour County investigators are looking into circumstances surrounding the death of a critically ill elderly patient last month. While the investigation is ongoing, a nurse is suspended for allegedly altering medication dosages for the patient without doctor's orders. A hospital representative says the nurse's alleged actions do not reflect the hospital's policies.
Well, the nation's governors talked with President Clinton in Washington. During the meeting, Pennsylvania Governor Tom Ridge urged the president to provide more federal money for education. A star attraction at the meeting, Texas Governor George W. Bush, with some GOP governors urging him to run for president. Meanwhile, the ultimate political outsider, former pro wrestler Jesse Ventura, is visiting Washington for the first time since his election as Minnesota's governor. We get more now from NBC's Jim Hatchett.
Forget the feather boa. Jesse Ventura's put on a power suit. For the first time since his election, the new Minnesota governor is blitzing Washington, speaking at the National Press Club, hitting the talk shows, yucking it up with fellow governors, rushing to a meeting with the president at the White House.
It's got real high ceilings, very spacious.
Don't worry, the former pro wrestler known as The Body isn't going soft on the city he so scorns.
Everything's different outside of Washington. You guys in the Beltway don't have a clue.
Ventura says Washington should get wise to the moderate, smaller, common-sense government he's trying to give Minnesota. It's a view he shares with Maine's Angus King, the only other governor who is neither Democrat nor Republican.
If these 2 parties don't wake up from their bipartisan bickering and everything that they do, there will be more Jesse Venturas on the horizon.
As for the speculation, Ventura has his eye on that place with the high ceilings.
2004, well, who knows? I could end up down the street here in that big White House, or I could end up living in a hut on the beaches of Kona.
Even though he is an outsider, Ventura certainly is getting the star treatment here in Washington, in part because opinion polls indicate he's wildly popular in Minnesota. And if there's anything Washington idolizes, it's a politician who does well in the polls. In Washington, I'm Jim Hatchett for 28 Eyewitness News.
We're coming up on 5:39. It's 8 degrees outside. Just ahead on Eyewitness News Sunrise, doctors have new advice for tens of millions of patients who suffer from arthritis. Jordana Green explains in the HealthBeat.
And in sports, classic Dennis Rodman, a news conference filled with the unexpected. Jim Miller tells us all about it a little later.
And with lesser winds this morning, it may not feel as cold, but the air temperature is colder, approaching 0. We'll see if we can warm things up a little bit with the forecast when we come back.
The team to watch: Mark Hiller, Marla Matthews, and Dr. Steve Fertig with weather. You're watching 28 Eyewitness News Sunrise at 5:30.
Well, it doesn't feel as brutally cold as yesterday because the winds have calmed down, but this is the kind of cold you walk inside, you still feel it. It's only 3 degrees right now in Moscow. 30.33. You can see with the calm winds, the wind chill not really playing a role today, at least not right now. 64% the relative humidity, nothing in the rain gauge. And we take a look at the averages for this day. 37 is where we should be, and we'll get closer to that, but not nearly close enough. 21 degrees, the average low. As far as records go, 69 was the high set in 1985, and the record low that we're keeping an eye on is 2 degrees below zero, set in 1964. Sun is up at 6:48. We'll set at 5:47, and we check out Super Doppler now, and you'll see not looking too bad. Again, high pressure hanging in there, keeping our skies fairly clear. Of course, that's contributing to the cold temperatures. Let's take a look to see how cold it is. 5 degrees in Avoca, 10 in Williamsport, 10 in Allentown, a 12 in Altoona, 1 lonely degree in Bradford and Elmira, and single digits up in Utica and Albany as well. Just to show you, we'll throw in the winds. Doesn't really change much. As you can see, the wind chill is not really a factor, except down by Altoona, Hagerstown, New York, and in Utica, where it's feeling cooler and like minus temperatures this morning. As far as the satellite and radar goes, watch the clouds start to move in and then just boom, fall apart. High pressure, putting that compressional force and helping those clouds to just dissipate. So we'll get to see some sunshine, at least early on today. This whole mess right here looks like it's coming right for us, does it not? Well, it is not. Not right away. It's going to dip further to the southeast, and then it can ride up the coastline, and we'll have to watch that. Again, it's one of those storms that could potentially be a snowmaker for us. That could be a little more significant. It looks like the coastal regions will get a little bit of snow, better chance there than inland where we are. But again, after this low dives to the southeast, we'll just have to see where it moves up the coastline. That would come in probably late Wednesday into Thursday. Forecast for today, though, is just a cold one. Mostly sunny skies, so it looks real pretty one more time, but it still feels real cold one more time. 24 degrees for the high. And then tonight, the temperatures are going to drop again, but not quite as bad as last night. 8 to 12 degrees for the overnight lows as the clouds increase. And then tomorrow, we do a little bit better. 29 degrees for a high temperature. Still mostly sunny early on, and then some flurries as it becomes cloudier later on, especially to the south. As a matter of fact, I think we can include a little more clouds in that forecast for tomorrow. Then 29 degrees for a high turns into 36 for Thursday. So Thursday looking a whole lot better temperature-wise, but we get some snowfall, it looks like, and that's the one we're watching as it moves up the coast. 39 degrees for Friday. Temperatures really begin to moderate as we move through the 5-day period. How about 41 for Saturday? Doesn't that sound rather nice with mostly sunny skies then?
After what we're facing now, it sounds more than nice.
Yeah, it really does.
All right, Steve.
Thanks, Steve.
Well, we have 5:44 right now, and straight ahead on Eyewitness News Sunrise, the future of music may be something called a Rio. Details coming up in the Bloomberg Technology Report.
And Jordana Green has some advice that could actually help control arthritis. Details in the HealthBeat.
You're watching 28 Eyewitness News.
Eight degrees, 5:47. Arthritis plagues nearly 41 million Americans. Those who suffer from it know how debilitating it can be. HealthBeat reporter Jordana Green tells us there are steps you can take to control arthritis before it controls you.
Joe Tusa considered himself too young and active to be put out to pasture. But a few years ago, arthritis in his knees threatened to change his life.
I could walk, but every step was very painful. For example, if we went to the mall, my wife and I went to the mall, I'd seek a bench and tell her to come back and pick me up.
Arthritis can be caused by lots of factors like joint anatomy, genetics, an injury, or the career we choose. While you can't prevent arthritis, there are some simple things you can do to extend the life of your joints.
We don't have some form of routine physical exercise, and that can come in many, many different forms, then the effects add up over time. And we come to a point in time where we lose the function of that particular joint as well.
While loss of flexibility is a natural part of aging, living with arthritis pain doesn't have to be.
At appropriate times, we may need to have a professional evaluation by a physical therapist, so they can look at what your range of motion is, what your muscle function is, and outline a custom program for you in order to allow you to get back and maintain your independence and your physical well-being for as long as possible.
For many, the damage might already be done and medication, physical therapy, or surgery recommended. For Joe, knee replacements have put him right back where he wants to be, in the pasture.
And now I get up to the country with my grandson, and he has difficulty keeping up with me.
That's the Health Beat. I'm Jordana Green.
It's 5:49, 8 degrees outside. In high-tech news this morning, we have the top MP3 music search engines on the internet. And find out about the hippest new music player going. Jean Lee has that and more in the Bloomberg Tech Report.
It's the hottest new music player around. This is the Rio, a portable MP3 player from Diamond Multimedia. MP3s are music files that can be downloaded from the internet or created using a computer. The Rio connects to your PC with a cable, allowing users to download and take their MP3s on the go. The built-in memory holds up to an hour of tunes, and additional interchangeable flashcards can even hold more music. PC software included with the Rio allows users to create their own MP3s from their CD collection. And since the Rio has no moving parts, the songs never skip, no matter how much you move it around. The player itself is about the size of an audio cassette, and it runs on a single AA battery and costs around $200. For more information on MP3s and the Rio, check out their website at rioport.com. We'll be right back after this.
The Bloomberg Technology Report is brought to you by Porsche. The laws of physics are a harsh opponent. They push you. You push back. Sometimes, after 30 years of struggling, you win. And as everyone knows, at Porsche, we like to win. Introducing a new Porsche 911. The laws of physics have just raised a big white flag.
So now that we've shown you an MP3 player, what's the best way to find MP3s on the internet? Well, use a special MP3 search engine. There are tons of them out there, all of them free to use. And mp3now.com is your connection to the very best ones. Every week, they rank the top 20 MP3 search engines as voted for by net surfers. They also rank the top 40 free MP3s and provide links to download them. It's all at mp3now.com. And that is today's Tech Report. I'm Jean Lee. You can find us online at Bloomberg.com.
8 degrees and it's 5:51, and it's definitely bundle up weather this morning. Dr. Steve tells us when the frigid temperatures are going to ease up in his 5-day recap a little later.
And straight ahead, ace pitcher David Wells speaks out about the big trade sending him north of the border. Jim Miller has more in sports. Right now, the Pennsylvania lottery numbers: the daily 672, the big 4 3209, and the cash 5 1 15 24 27 and 31.
Visit Eyewitness News on the internet at WBRE.com.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Jim Miller, and this is your Tuesday morning sports report. The bizarreness of Dennis Rodman continued yesterday when he held a press conference without any Laker officials present and said he wanted to sign with the Lakers organization. Rodman, who won the rebounding championship 7 times in the league, says a lot of things still have to happen before he becomes a member of the Lakers. The Lakers are well over the salary cap. They can sign Rodman for the veterans minimum prorated of $600,000.
No matter what I do for this league or what I do for the game of basketball, I'm going to never win. And in a situation like this, the situation right here when I'm playing for minimum wage after taxes, I'm getting what, $250, and I got 10 charities here that I'm gonna give $10,000 to each charity. That's $100,000. So basically, I'm getting paid $150,000 on top of that, and even with this, doing this right here, I'm still not gonna win.
So even though one applauds Rodman for his generosity, he did not point out that he will also be getting a $3 million sneaker deal from Nike for playing in L.A. this year. Well, congratulations to Kelly Mazzani of Montoursville High School. Last night she scored 33 points to go over the 2,000-point mark in career scoring as Montoursville defeated Williamsport 78-38 to improve their record to 24-0. Kelly needed 29 points to reach 2,000. She got more than enough. She now has 2,004. Congratulations to Kelly Masani of Montoursville High School, 2,000 points in career scoring. College basketball action tonight will find the MAC playoffs unfolding with the Freedom League champion Wilkes University Colonels, one of the teams in action. More local teams have made the playoffs this year, and for the Colonels and head coach Jerry Rickroad, the season is a continuation of the growth of Wilkes University basketball. The Colonels come off a key win over the University of Scranton Royals on Saturday night.
We've had good teams in the past that have gone a distance in the tournament. We have good ones who haven't. And this year's team is much different than any team I've coached. They all seem to have this different personalities, but there is one thing in common. They all play really hard at this time of the year, and the seniors really have a sense of urgency, and I think that's going to help us.
Again, the MAC playoffs begin later tonight. We will have highlights for you of all the games tonight at 11:20 on Eyewitness Sports. Baseball left-hander David Wells left quite a mark on the world champion New York Yankees before he was traded to Toronto last Thursday. Wells pitched a perfect game for the Bronx Bombers last year and rolled through the year with 18 victories. He said that he understood the business side of baseball and that the Blue Jays got the better end of the deal.
I know the business of baseball, it sucks, but, you know, we have no reason to be discouraged at times because we're still playing the game. You know, it's something, if you're released, which I was from this organization, then that's pretty discouraging. But, you know, just you got to go in and just put all feelings aside and just go out there and play the game of baseball.
Wells went on to say that he misses his Yankee teammates already and looks forward a great deal to his return to Yankee Stadium. NBA, the 76ers beat the Cavaliers at Cleveland 106-97. That's it in sports for a Tuesday morning. I'm Jim Miller, 28 Eyewitness Sports.
Well, the thermometer's reading just about every bit as cold as yesterday morning. Not quite as windy, though, thank goodness.
Yeah, that is helping things out quite a bit. Of course, if Dennis Rodman were around here, he'd be watching those tears, freezing in these conditions because it is very cold outside. But it's going to be not feeling as bad as yesterday with, again, the winds on the downside. 24 for a high this afternoon, 29 tomorrow, so a little bit warmer, but we'll see the chance of a late day snow flurry, then 36, the best chance for some snow then as things warm up a little bit. 39 for Friday and 41, much better on Saturday.
Much better.
Mm-hmm.
Hard to believe we're saying 41 is going to feel good.
I know, it is really cold though. Stay warm, everybody.
All right.
Thanks, Steve.
Okay.
We're just a few minutes away from 6 a.m. That means it's time to wrap up this first half hour of Eyewitness News Sunrise. We'll be back in just a bit with a full hour of news, weather, and sports.
Coming up, we'll tell you why one local police department may have expanded duties, and we'll tell you why the woman known as Carol Brady is suing over the title, get this, Porn Queen. That's all when Eyewitness News Sunrise comes right back.
From WBRE, this is 28 Eyewitness News.
One local city is moving to replace faulty fire hydrants.
Scranton is making sure the hydrants work in case of a serious emergency. Good morning. It's about 6 o'clock Tuesday, February 23rd. We'll have the latest on Scranton's hydrant situation. Plus, a local organization helps keep the homeless off the street to survive this bitter cold night we had.
And what a chilly morning we have to start the day. Meteorologist Dr. Steve Fertig joins us now. Just how low did it go overnight, Steve?
Well, we're down to 8 degrees here, and at the airport 5 degrees for the temperature right now. It'll continue to drop a little bit. It's rather dry outside, and so that will allow the temperatures to still decline some. Whether or not we'll get to that 2 degrees below zero for the record, to tie it, we'll see. But 24 degrees for a high, so we'll do a whole lot better, and mostly sunny skies. Of course, yesterday we were talking wind chills, 20 degrees below zero in some spots, so we're doing a whole lot better that way today.
It was rough at the bus stop yesterday. Not so bad, not quite as bad
Not
today.
as bad,
Right.
not as. Keyword as, yeah.
Right.
See you later.
Thanks,
Okay.
Steve. The Occupation and Safety Health Administration will be in Allentown today looking for the cause of last Friday's deadly explosion at a chemical distilling company. And as our DO Wallace tells us, legal battles are already shaping up.
I have no words to express my sorrow, and to the families of my lost friends and injured colleagues, I pledge to them and to you that I will do everything in my power to find out what happened
Dr. Earl Ward tears up as he talks about the 5 people killed in Friday's explosion at his company, Concept Sciences, in Lehigh County. Officials continue to say an explosive mixture of chemicals sparked the blast, but a company attorney believes there was no combination of chemicals on the premises that could have caused damage of this magnitude.
I really think it's unfortunate that anybody, especially the Lieutenant Governor, would make a statement as to the cause of this accident within 24 hours of it occurring when the experts have no clue what happened.
Funeral services are scheduled Wednesday for blast victims Anthony Mondello of Penn Argyl and his 25-year-old son Paul. Paul was to be married in April.
Paul came into our church and was immediately received and accepted and loved, and he's like a son to many of us.
52-year-old Ruben Soto also died in the blast.
He used to say it was unsafe, always unsafe.
Soto's son says the family plans to sue Concept Sciences. They did not want their father to work at the plant and many times tried to get him to quit.
So just the eye problems that he had, stay blind for weeks, burns that would be on his arms, boots that would be melted away, that he would come home, he had to buy a pair of new boots. Just all unsafe. You can hear that from all different people that work there.
This blast is classified as one of the worst disasters in Lehigh County, one of which we may never really know what happened on the night of Friday, February 19th. In Lehigh County, Dia Wallace, 28 Eyewitness News.
Investigators say it may take months to figure out what exactly caused that explosion.
The Susquehanna County prisoners back behind bars this morning after eluding police for 10 hours. It all began yesterday morning in Montrose when 18-year-old Dominic Franklin complained of shortness of breath and was transported to Endless Mountain Medical Center. He escaped from the officer who escorted him and later met up with his wife Bethany. State police tracked Franklin and his wife to a cabin in Forest Lake Township. Franklin was in custody for a parole violation from a previous drug arrest. Now he faces felony charges for burglary and escape. His wife faces burglary and conspiracy charges in connection with Franklin's alleged crimes.
Well, here's one for you. Is bigger better? That's the question facing residents in one part of Luzerne County. It all has to do with police protection. I-Team reporter Annie Mehalshick takes a look at Hazleton City police officers who may soon be patrolling neighboring Hazel Township as well.
Hazleton's black and white police cruisers may soon be patrolling the streets in Hazel Township. The township is now protected by the state police, but if the governor gets his way, townships like Hazel will soon have to pay for that coverage, and that translates into some $700,000. Township Chairman Andy Benio wants to explore other, less expensive options.
The point is we'll be negotiating with the various municipalities surrounding us. We have negotiated with Hazleton approximately 7 or 8 months ago. They gave us a decent offer. We're going to have to sit down and get some serious pledges made to us as far as what it would cost us, minimum-wise, what type of force we'd be looking at, how many people.
Hazleton Police Chief Tony Franzosa has already mapped out plans to cover Hazel Township.
So you're looking at getting 6, 7, 8 officers to a scene at one time, no matter what time of the day or night it is. And I know the state does a fine job out there, but we have more manpower than them.
Right now, Hazleton City has 42 full-time police officers. If indeed they would take over patrolling Hazel Township, they would hire 12 new officers. The chief says the money for those salaries would come from Hazel Township in the form of taxes or a fee.
There's always the possibility of the taxes going up. We would try to do this as minimal as possible to start with, so to speak, to get our feet wet and work our way up from there. With the monies and funding available from the states, it might not be necessary, at least for the first couple of years.
But Benio insists that's much less than the $700,000 in the governor's proposal. He also says Hazel Township might even consider its own police force. In Luzerne County, Andy Mehalshick, 28 Eyewitness News.
And Benio says he will be meeting with Hazleton leaders to take a hard look at safety and financial considerations involved in police coverage.
Turning to news from Scranton, fixing faulty fire hydrants could begin in the city as early as today. Scranton leaders met with 8 contractors yesterday to determine who will replace at least 80 hydrants in the city. Scranton will spend nearly $150,000 to work on nearly 140 hydrants in all. Those hydrants will be replaced at a rate of approximately 16 a day. The entire project should take about 2 weeks.
It's 6:09 and 8 degrees outside. Still to come on Eyewitness News Sunrise. Florence Henderson is fighting mad over a T-shirt claiming she's a porn queen. We'll tell you more. And later, scientists aren't reinventing the wheel, but they are improving bicycles. Jordana Green explains in the HealthBeat.
And we'll meet a man who says other people's trash is his treasure in our picture of the day.
And the record low is -2. We're heading in that direction, but will we get there? I'll let you know. Give you the complete forecast a little later on Sunrise.
The team to watch: Mark Hiller, Marla Matthews, and Dr. Steve Fertig with weather. This is 28 Eyewitness News Sunrise at 6 o'clock. You're watching 28 Eyewitness News.
It's 6:12 and only 7 degrees. Temperatures will continue to drop a little bit this morning. 0 to 5 degrees is what we expect around 7 a.m., though plenty of sunshine, at least clear skies as the sun begins to rise. Then low 20s, though, so a little bit warmer for your trip home from school, and still plenty of sunshine with a few clouds. Now here is Mark with more news.
All right, Steve. As the deadline nears, U.S. mediators are not optimistic that Serbs and ethnic Albanians will reach an agreement over Kosovo. The two sides are meeting in France and working against the latest deadline of 9 a.m. Eastern Time. Secretary of State Madeleine Albright will meet with Albanians today to try to get them to agree to a compromise. She met with the Serbian president yesterday, but apparently made no headway in getting Serbs to agree to a NATO peacekeeping force. The woman who played Mom on the Brady Bunch is suing 2 clothing retailers. Florence Henderson, as we show you here when she received her star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame in 1996, is taking the action to court. She's best known as Carol Brady from the popular 70s sitcom. Henderson is suing an internet store called Serial Killer for using her picture on T-shirts captioned with the words, "Porn Queen." Court papers filed in Los Angeles Superior Court say the shirts expose her to contempt and ridicule.
It's 6:14, a chilly 7 degrees outside. When we come back, find out when this cold snap will end. Steve tells us what we're in for in his 5-day forecast.
And later, is it recycling or is it just a pile of junk? We'll tell you about the controversy in our picture of the day.
You're watching 28 Eyewitness News. You're watching 28 Eyewitness News.
It's 6:22, 7 degrees outside. In our picture of the day, you may have heard the adage, one man's trash is another man's treasure. Well, Henry Wheeler's neighbors say that's a whole lot of garbage. For the better part of the last 2 decades, Wheeler has been collecting garbage. Wheeler not only collects his own trash, he also collects everyone else's. Take a look.
How would you like to live next to this guy? Whittier, California City Council fined him $5,000 and ordered him to clean up. Well, Wheeler paid the fine. It says he does not understand what the commotion is all about. He says he is just recycling. This guy's got to be kidding.
I hope so. It's Tuesday, February 23rd. Time to take a look back at this day in history. In 1945, near the end of World War II, U.S. Marines raised the American flag on Iwo Jima. Associated Press photographer Joe Rosenthal captures the now famous scene atop Mount Suribachi.
And in 1997, scientists in Scotland announced they had cloned an adult mammal, a lamb they named Dolly.
And we've come a long way from them cloning other things too, I guess.
I guess.
Yes, some of these other people came about in the traditional sense. They had birthdays.
What a nice, natural way to be.
And we'll talk about it right now. How about Peter Fonda? Remember him? He gunned his Harley Davidson in the movie Easy Rider long ago, a classic film. He turns 59 years old today. And Patricia Richardson from the sitcom Home Improvement, and she was nominated for an Emmy, by the way, in 1998, but lost, unlike WBRE, who won for Best Newscast. Anyway, she is 48 years old, and we take a look now at Aerosmith's Brad Whitford. Not one of the more well-known, I don't think, band members, unless you're an Aerosmith fan, in which case you're probably going to call me and tell me, no, what do you mean, Steve? 47 years old, and Christian Davis, who was on General Hospital first before she joined the Melrose Place crew, and she turns 34 years old today. And if you're 5 or under, or 80 or over, and you'd like us to wish you a happy birthday on the air, Send us your photo 2 weeks in advance. We'll make you a star. Tell us your name, age, your hometown, and your birthday. And send it to Sunrise Birthdays, WBRE TV, Post Office Box 28, Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, 18773.
Medical news for you this morning, a diet that helps people with heart problems. And scientists reinvent the bicycle. Jordana Green joins us now with details in the Health Beat.
Good morning, everyone. The phrase, "it's like riding a bike," has just taken on a whole new meaning. Scientists and fitness experts concerned about knee injuries due to bike riding have reinvented the way we ride.
When you ride a bike, your legs pedal round and round over and over again. This repetitive motion may strain your leg. So scientists have now built what they call a biomechanically correct bicycle.
This is the natural walking jogging motion. This bicycle will be replacement of the conventional bicycle.
Now, because you don't have to pedal full circle, the amount of work per distance traveled is reduced. And the laws of physics say that improves your efficiency. The new cycling system can also be quickly converted to pedal only on one side to allow those with disabilities to ride. Some encouraging news for people who eat Mediterranean style. A new study says they have a lower risk of heart attacks than those who eat American style. During the study, 50% of heart attack survivors were put on the Mediterranean diet, and the other half on an American Heart Association diet. After nearly 4 years, Mediterranean diet patients were 70% less likely to suffer from a second heart attack.
It's significant because by a moderate changes in the diet leads to a spectacular reduction.
The Mediterranean diet includes beans, rice, fresh vegetables, fruit, fish, and of course, olive oil. That's the Health Beat. I'm Jordana Green.
It's 6:42 in business news this morning. The Levi's company is tightening up its belt, and Alan Greenspan gives his report on the economy on the Hill today. Here's Alexis Christoforous with the Bloomberg Business Report.
Good morning. Federal Reserve Chairman Alan Greenspan takes center stage on Wall Street today. The Fed chief heads to Capitol Hill this morning to give his semi-annual testimony to Congress on the state of the economy. While most investors expect Greenspan to report that the economy remains resilient, investors don't expect him to hint that interest rates are headed higher. America West is grounding plans to sell the Phoenix-based low-cost airline. America West said a possible sale would have to satisfy too many conditions to be worthwhile. United Airlines and Delta had expressed interest in buying the number 9 U.S. carrier to expand their West Coast operations, but at least for now, America West says it wants to remain independent. Up next, Levi's has got the blues. A flurry of multi-billion-dollar mergers in the utility industry lit a fire under the stock market. Financial and tech stocks fueled the gains. The Dow Industrials shot up 213 points to 95.53. The Dow is now less than 100 points away from an all-time high. The S&P 500 rallied 33, while the Nasdaq climbed 58 points. The maker of Levi's is tightening its belt to fit declining demand. The company that put baby boomers in jeans is closing 11 plants and laying off nearly 6,000 workers. Levi's has fallen victim to a fashion generation gap. Its jeans are losing out to trendier pants from companies like Old Navy, The Gap, and Tommy Hilfiger. And that's today's Bloomberg Business Report. I'm Alexis Christoforous in New York.
8 degrees at 6:45, and it's one of the coldest mornings of winter, and the Frigidaire is not finished with us. Dr. Steve tells us what else to expect in his 5-day forecast next.
And later in sports, Dennis says he's ready to bring his basketball menace to a new club.
You're watching 28 Eyewitness News.
Sunshine, Saturday looking like a rather nice day. And I've seen this work for college kids who need money in school during sporting events. So my dad, who's down in Florida, he's not going to see this, but anybody that sees him, tell him. Send us some heat.
Yeah,
we need it. They're in the 70s down there.
Wow.
Sounds pretty good.
Well,
huh?
someday here, hopefully soon.
Yeah, all righty.
All right.
Thanks, Steve. It's 6:55. It's Tuesday, February 23rd. Time to take a look at what the Eyewitness News team is working on today. We go to the control center where assignment manager John Bendick fills us in. Good morning, John.
And good morning to you, Marla. The Sunbury Daily Item reporting this morning that the victim was a woman and she was from Northumberland County. Her death leading to the suspension of a nurse who who had allegedly changed the medication dosage of the victim without the okay of a doctor. It happened at Penn State Geisinger in Danville. We'll have more on that story today. Add one more country to those who will compete for a spot in the Little League World Series in Williamsport. Bosnia. Bosnia becomes the 99th country to join Little League Baseball. And recall that visit by our videographer Andy Koch to the icebox capital of Pennsylvania, Lopez in Sullivan County. Well, they contacted us today. They say, our friends in Lopez, it is 9 below zero and dropping. We'll have more on that today. We're sending a videographer up there this morning where they boast about the cold and frost in June. We'll have more at noon.
All right, John, I hope they bundle up for that assignment.
Well, no sub-zeros right here at the studio, but it's cold, 8 degrees, and we have 6:56 right now. And that cold snap's not ready to end just yet.
Perhaps 39 for Friday, and it warms up into the 40s for the weekend.
Break out the Bermudas. Okay, Steve.
Well, coming up next on the Today Show, find out what's hot for fall. The fall fashions arrive.
Already talking about fall. We're not even into spring. We'll see you back here in 25 with our next local update.
Bye-bye.